Hi, everyone. This is Caroline with the Expat Interviews Thriving Abroad, where you get an opportunity to meet the most amazing people that are living and thriving abroad in just about every corner of the earth, I would say. And today I'm really excited to have an opportunity to share with you Shantel, who is living her best life in Belgium, in Brussels. Thank you for joining me, Shantel. Welcome.
Thank you. Very happy to be here, Carolyn.
So, well, let's get right to it. You are originally from the U.S. Where do you hail from?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a bit of a nomad from the US. But I will say this, I hail from Chicago, born and raised in Chicago, but then moved around a bit and had been living in the New York region, actually New Jersey, Jersey City, for about 14 years before moving abroad.
You're my
But
Jersey
Chicago is
sister.
home. So Chicago is home, but
Okay.
the Northeast has a special place.
Yeah, well, that is my place of origin, New Jersey. So I am very excited. That's Jersey girl. Jersey's in the
Oh,
house.
Jersey.
So how long have you lived in Belgium?
I've been in Belgium for about 3 years now.
Okay, and how has it been? I mean, did you go, was that your first expat adventure, or were you just traveling? I think you did say you were traveling a little bit. You did some travel before you decided to settle there.
Well, so a little bit of backstory is that I guess, again, being a nomad domestically in the US, I'm from Chicago. I went to school in Wisconsin. I've lived in the Southeast. I've lived in the Northeast. So from Chicago to Wisconsin to North Carolina to Massachusetts to New Jersey and then to Belgium. So the opportunity to move abroad was came with my husband and the company that he was working with. He was a managing partner with this company, and so we had the opportunity to relocate to one of the 22 countries that the company was based in. And I chose Belgium because my children were learning French. Um, as opposed to France, which the office was very small there. So we just chose the next best thing in Europe, and that was Brussels, which would, for a number of reasons. One is just the capital of Europe, which allows you to move around the Schengen countries easily. And they do speak French here as well. And, it would have allowed me to take a sabbatical.
Yeah, and that's something interesting that a lot of people, that are moving to other countries that speak other than English. Although I know that English is widely spoken in Belgium, but there's Dutch language, the French, as you mentioned, there's the German. So you have like a cornucopia of different languages, which for children that might be great for them to have an opportunity to latch on to different languages.
Yes.
But as an adult that speaks only English, which would you say is probably the easiest, in your opinion, what is one of the easiest languages maybe out of all of those that are spoken there to pick up?
Well, interestingly enough, I've always been a fan of the French language. I've always loved it. So I've kind of played with it and flirted with it for many, many years. My children were learning French in the US. So they'd attended French American schools and had been in French programs. So, we took this opportunity to fully immerse. Um, Coming here as an adult, I would say that the shift for me with immersing in with the French immersion was that I didn't want to spend so much time on the grammar. I wasn't going to write in French. I really wasn't planning on reading that much French. I just wanted to communicate in French verbally. And so with that, I found a tutor when I first arrived, and her whole point was, you will be the social director of your home. And so those are the skills that I want to give you. The things that you will hear in the market, how to food shop, how to, look at the quantities of the foods that you're giving. So we would go to the market together. We would go to the grocery store together. We'd meet for coffee. So you're having those social interactions. And so you're not caught up on the grammar, which is what the French language focuses so much on. So my children, and particularly my daughter, she does well with languages. She probably would consider herself kind of a polyglot, but she speaks French, beautiful accent she has, but she's nervous about, uh, she sometimes gets nervous about not being, about messing up. And I said,
Yeah,
but you have to make the mistakes. Just make the mistakes. They will know what you mean. And
sure.
even in Dutch though too. So she's learning Dutch in school. And so, we had an apartment in Amsterdam. So she spent some time there, and every opportunity that I had, I would say, she speaks Dutch. So to have people engage with her there. So for me, it was kind of a lost cause. I slaughter the language. I start off by telling people, mon français c'est très mauvais. And they go, okay. But then they'll look to the kids because, again, they're more adept at learning the languages.
And I feel like that's one of the pluses, right, of living abroad, especially in a country where there's, your children are exposed to these different languages, and they're getting like the real grassroots, deep into it kind of a thing. It's not like they're taking it on a Babbel app, on their phone. They're really immersed in the culture and the language. So I feel like that's doubly important. Just a couple of other quick questions I wanted to ask you about your life in Brussels. How was it culturally adapting to? I know that it's a very diverse country. There's lots of people from all over there, but culturally for you, were there some drawbacks? Were there some things that just it took you a moment to, or even still, to get accustomed to?
One of the things that I do, so I majored in anthropology, social and cultural anthropology. So my thing is, whenever I show up in a place, I'm just going to absorb and adapt to what it is to where I am. So when I thought about coming to Belgium, I thought, okay, who will they see as I'm walking down the street? Instantly, they're going to think that I'm African. But when I open my mouth, they're going to say, oh, well, no, she's American. And then I was concerned about, the stereotypes that come along with being Black American and what people in Europe think of Black Americans. And then I just said, you know what? I'm just unique, and I'm just going to show up, and they're just going to love me. So I showed up with, the attitude of, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to share who I am and my experiences, and we're all going to get along fabulously.
I feel like that's a great attitude. I really do, because being an expat, sometimes we forget as Americans that we are in a different country, and we tend to want them to adapt to us more than us adapting to them. So that's really a great point, and in expat life. Also, just another quick thing. I know that Belgium is predominantly a Catholic country. Does that, in your opinion, does that have any influence on things that go on, like politically or just culturally, as opposed to going to a Muslim country? Have you noticed that culturally that the Catholicism shapes, how the family life and how everything is there?
Well, because I'm in Brussels, I think that we just get a vast amalgamation of different religions. In terms of Belgium, they have a lot of holidays, and the holidays are definitely some religious holidays as well. So there are holidays that in the US, because I'm not Catholic, I would have never even known. And so here you're looking like, what is that? What is that? And what's interesting is, because my children go to an international school, sometimes we don't get those holidays off. But again, the city would be closed, and your offices would be closed. You go, okay, well, what's this holiday? So those do shape I think it definitely does shape the calendar. But even in terms of just family life and cultural experiences, I think that what I have found here is that people are very family oriented. They spend a lot of time together. The culture is that, the shops and everything, they close at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Go home, be with your family. On Sundays, everything is closed. Now, is everyone at church? Maybe, maybe not, but they're definitely with their family. So you find people outside more, engaging in sports, all of those kinds of things. So I think that there's this there's a culture of the family. And again, maybe that is influenced by the religion as well, but I'm Baptist, so I haven't found a church home here. So for me, I log in and I go to church at home sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, they do have a lot of online churches now that we are in that culture of online. So there you are. For the future, I know that you moved because of your husband's job. Is this home for you? Is this your home base? Do you consider Belgium to be a spot that you can thrive and put down roots, even maybe if you venture off traveling in the future?
No, I wouldn't say that that would be the case for me because, I would describe the place as uh, capitalist, but there's definitely a socialist push. Um, if I were to take root here, I would definitely need to become much more fluent in languages, and that would mean both French and the Flemish, because a lot of the businesses they still require you to speak to speak Flemish or Dutch, um, but even in terms of becoming even a citizen here, you have to really demonstrate why. You have to spend a considerable amount of time here, and then you have to immerse in the culture and in the economy as well. And so you do that by either becoming a student or owning some real estate or any of those kinds of things. But um, I think now because again, I consider I've done over 20 plus years of real estate development. I wanted to shift and I wanted to focus on doing some art advising and, having an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. I think that small businesses here, I don't know how they truly thrive here because of the tax system. So for me, I don't know if I could make this work. I mean, to even open up a business and all of the costs associated with that and the taxation, I always question. I'm like, how are people really thriving here? I
Yeah,
think they define it differently, though.
right. Um, I guess those are things to take into consideration if you are planning to be offshore for long periods of times. Like, some people expat for a short bit of time, maybe for their children to grow up, or, some people do it for a lifetime. And definitely those are things that you'd want to consider if your goal is to be an expat for forever. The last thing, and one of the most important things that I wanted to ask you today is, there are people that are considering changing their lifestyle, with all the global changes that are happening right now. Many people are starting to wake up and say, hey, you know what? I would like to go and live somewhere else. I know there's more out there to the world. I'd like to just step out, but I'm so afraid. I don't even have a passport. I've never stepped foot out of my city. What would you say to someone? What advice would you give someone who is in that situation, but inside they're longing to go out and explore the world?
Right, right. One, I think that to begin to explore the world, it just comes with traveling, because before you decide to make to establish roots in a different place, you want to be really sure that that is a place that you want to be. So I think that the variety of travel throughout the world, which will determine, where you fit, where you feel most comfortable, where you have more opportunities. And again, depending on where you are, if you're, young, if you're older, what does that look like for you? And then how to prepare for that. So I think that that's the first thing that one would have to do, and that is really to just take an opportunity to move around the world. Because once you begin to do that, then you'll identify where your people are, where you fit in, and how you where you become the best version of you, and then how to sustain that. So you have to really factor in all of that, the social piece of it, from the economics of it all, because you also have to look at how the countries will receive you as well as an immigrant. So there's definitely a myriad of checklists out there to help you to make a decision. But again, once you go, so for instance, if you've never been around other cultures, then how do you know that, oh, I just want to go here? Like I hear a lot of people talk about expatting to Africa. Well, but you're an immigrant, so expatting to Africa, you're an American. So you really want to be sure about the place that you want to live. And again, that comes with spending time in places.
You are absolutely right about that. And sometimes in the most unexpected ways, you find the place that you want to settle down. And even with your travels, if you're really, really unsure, just pick a place that you've always wanted to travel to and see how it feels once you're there. That usually works. Shantel, it's been a pleasure sharing with you. How can we connect with you if there's someone that would like to reach out and would love more information about Belgium? Or are you a grammar?
What does that mean?
Instagram. Are you on Instagram?
Oh, yeah. I do have an Instagram account, and it's called Noir and Abroad. So Noir and Abroad. So that's usually my handle. I spend a lot of time outdoors, just kind of moving around, exploring a lot of different galleries, meeting a lot of different artists, and just taking in the beauty of this gift that I've been given.
So that'll be a great way for folks to get a good view up close of what it's like living there. I appreciate you. Many blessings to you and your family. All the best, and continue to live your fabulous life. And we will see you. We'll see you out there on the Instagram. Thank you once again. I appreciate you.
And thank you so much for sharing all of these amazing stories to, be an inspiration to people who just want to, live life abundantly.
Thank you.
Bye, Carolyn.
Bye-bye.